He never missed a single transfer. Not once in 11 years. Not when his account was sitting at $60 and payday was still 5 days out. Not when he was reheating the same pot of rice for the third night running. Not even when that quiet voice in the back of his mind kept whispering that something here was not adding up. The money always went home first. Every single month. And for a long time, that felt like proof he was doing things right. His name was Marcus. 32 years old. Steady office job, clean clothes, same email address for 6 years. His co-workers called him reliable. His manager trusted him with things that mattered. From the outside, he looked like someone who had quietly figured out how to be an adult. What none of them knew was that Marcus had $400 in savings. Not $4,000. $400. After 11 years of working. After more than a decade of paychecks and budgets and telling himself that next month, finally, he would start building something real. $400 was the only thing standing between him and a complete collapse. Let that sit for a moment. 11 years. $400. He was not reckless. He was not buying things he could not afford. He was not trying to look rich. He was living as small as he knew how to live. But every month, without exception, a piece of his paycheck crossed an ocean. And every month, the idea of building something for himself got pushed a little further back. Marcus grew up where money was always tight and family always came first. That kind of upbringing does not leave you. It travels with you. It rewires what you believe you are allowed to keep. His father's back gave out before 60. His mother had always worked but never at anything that paid enough. His sister was still in school. His grandmother needed medicine. When Marcus landed his first real job in the US, the logic felt immediate and unquestionable. He was earning in dollars. His family was not. He could help. So he would. The first transfer was $200. He remembered his mother's voice that evening. The relief in it. He thought, this is exactly why I worked so hard to get here. Over the years the amount drifted upward. A repair. Enrollment fees. A medical procedure insurance did not cover. It settled around $400 to $500 a month and stayed there, because the needs at home stayed there too. The need was real. He was not being manipulated. His family genuinely could not have managed without him. He was not wrong to help. But slowly, quietly, the help had become the whole structure. And his own future was what was being consumed to keep it running. Every month he told himself the same story. When his salary went up. When his sister graduated. When things at home settled. He was waiting for a moment that was never going to arrive. Struggling families do not reach a finish line. The needs change shape. They do not end. So the months passed. And his own financial life did what neglected things do. It eroded. Not in one visible moment. Grain by grain. The way a riverbank disappears so slowly you never notice until the morning you reach for it and there is nothing there. No emergency fund in any real sense. Just whatever the math left behind after everything else. Some months $300. Some months $80. He called it savings because he needed to call it something. His retirement contribution sat at the minimum. His health plan was the cheapest option. His dental coverage was basic. He had read the articles. He understood the math. He closed the tabs and went back to work. 32 years old. 11 years in. Almost nothing to show for it. And the cruelty of it was that he did not feel irresponsible. He felt like a person doing exactly what was expected of him. He had become something load-bearing for the people he loved. He just never stopped to notice that he himself was standing on air. Nobody around him knew. Too private. Too hard to explain without the wrong conclusion being drawn. So he carried it quietly, kept sending the transfer, kept showing up, kept telling himself it was temporary. Then his back tooth ended that story. He had been aware of the ache for 4 months. A dull throb that sharpened when he chewed and then faded back into something ignorable. He had been ignoring it deliberately, because he already knew roughly what a crown cost and had not wanted to turn that rough knowledge into a real number. When he finally sat in the chair, the dentist showed him the X-ray without softening it. The work came to $1,800 after insurance. Payment plan available, with interest. He said yes, drove home, pulled into his spot, and sat in the car without getting out, just staring at the windshield. That night he opened the spreadsheet. Take-home pay. New rent, because the building had sold and $220 was being added to his monthly bill when the lease turned over. Groceries. Utilities. Transportation. The family transfer. The dental payment. Phone. Minimum payment on the credit card, the one carrying a balance that had been quietly growing for 2 years. He looked at the number at the bottom. -$40. He did not panic. What moved through him was quieter than panic and far more frightening. The feeling of reaching for solid ground and finding only air. The floor he had assumed was there, had always assumed was there, was not. He went through the options. Cheaper apartment. Moving cost money he did not have. A raise. He had gotten one 6 months ago. Cut card spending. There was nothing left there to cut. One option remained. He could reduce the transfer. He picked up his phone. Found his mother's name. Looked at it. Put the phone down. This was not just a money problem. He understood that in the silence of his apartment, more clearly than he had ever allowed himself to understand anything. Reducing the transfer meant making a call that would break something he had spent 11 years carefully building. He was the one who had made it. The one who called every week and never missed a payment and never asked for anything back. His family did not worry about him because he had made sure they never needed to. That was not a small thing. It was the story he told about himself. The story that made the sacrifices feel like purpose rather than loss. The story that turned years of eating alone and ignoring the tooth and not opening the spreadsheet into something that meant something. He did not know how to make the call without the story falling apart. So he did what he always did. Cut the groceries further. Delayed the car maintenance again. Put the costs he could not avoid onto the card and told himself he would deal with it when there was more room. There was never more room. That spring his car made the decision for him. The mechanic put it on the lift, showed him the brakes, and told him plainly it could not go back on the road without the repair. $1,200. He put it on the card. Over $6,000 in debt now. Interest running every month, quiet and relentless. Savings below $300. One unexpected bill away from not making rent. He knew all of it. He sat with it. He told no one. Until he told one friend. Not everything. Enough. The friend listened all the way through, and then said, quietly, "Marcus, you have been building a house for your family on a foundation made of nothing. At some point the house and the foundation go down together." Marcus did not sleep that night. He called his mother the following week. He had rehearsed it so many times that when the moment came, the words arrived almost flat. He needed to reduce the transfer for a while. He had things on his end he needed to handle. His mother was quiet for a moment. Then she said okay. Then she said she hoped he was taking care of himself. He had to set the phone down for a few seconds after that. What followed was not a transformation. It was just slow, quiet, $20 at a time work. Stop using the card. Move the breathing room toward the balance. Sit in the HR office and ask about benefits he should have understood years ago. By the end of that year he was not in crisis. He was also nowhere near where 11 years of consistent work should have placed him. The gap was real. It was not going to close quickly. Some of it might never fully close. He still sends money home. He always will. But the amount is different now. And so is the account it comes from. Sometimes, when the balance is a little higher than it used to be, he thinks about that night. The spreadsheet. The number at the bottom of the column. The silence in the apartment around him. He had spent 11 years making sure the people he loved always had something to fall back on. He had never once asked himself what he would fall back on.